some new developments tonight, folks, in the alleged kidnapping and robbery of Atlanta rapper Gucci Mane. Just hours ago, a federal judge ordered the rapper Pooh Shiesty to...
Today, rapper Pooh Shiesty was in a Dallas courtroom for allegedly holding Gucci Mane at gunpoint. Both remain in federal custody as this case continues to play out, and prosecutors say that he and his crew held Gucci Mane at gunpoint at a music studio in Dallas, Texas in January.
You tell me when you guys are ready. Ready?
Would you say your name first real quick?
Yeah, Bradford Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, Sam Zengane, and John Helms. And then what I think also is really important is the sloppiness of the complaint. At the beginning of the complaint, if you read, it says, this robbery occurred at approximately 4:50 p.m. at this address. Then later on in the complaint, it says they all left at 4:48 p.m. at this address. So even the sloppiness of the complaint is quite shocking when it comes to someone who's getting charged with a life felony. That's just one mistake that was made in that complaint. There's others that were made and contradictions that happened during that complaint that were very unusual. But there's
Question, just look straight into it.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you. So we had a bond hearing today and a PC hearing today. I think that the relevant things that were said today that I thought were fascinating were that it took 3 months to build a case. And I think the reason for that was because the statements that were given on the evening that this occurred were very questionable.
Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty will remain in federal custody. A Dallas judge issued the ruling as prosecutors lay out serious allegations involving him and rapper Gucci Mane. Today,
several suspects accused of kidnapping and robbing rapper Gucci Mane and others are set to face a judge again on Monday as their high-stakes detention hearing continues. In federal court today, prosecutors say what was supposed to be a business meeting at a Dallas recording studio quickly turned into a violent, coordinated crime. 5 of the 9 people charged, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., Darian McDaniel, Corday Johnson, and Demarion Gibson appeared in court.
There is allegedly, according to the government, an argument, and they claim it ends up with Williams Jr., again, Pooh Shiesty, being accused of taking out a black AK-style pistol, pointing it at RD, presumably Gucci Mane, demanding he sign the contract release paperwork. RD allegedly complied, signed it, and then there is the claim that RD was not allowed to leave as he was held at gunpoint.
Details tonight, Memphis rapper with the stage name Big 30 was granted a $100,000 bond today. He was in federal court as he faced charges for an alleged robbery and kidnapping of the rapper known as Gucci Mane.
we're learning more details about that case. ABC 24's Ezekiel Telemaco shares what happened during the hearing and what's coming next.
FDO, it's going to be a while until Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty has a first day out after a federal judge in Dallas ruled that they have probable cause to keep Pooh Shiesty in federal custody. Now, Pooh Shiesty, along with 8 others, including Memphis rapper Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty's father, are facing charges including robbery and alleged kidnapping. According to federal prosecutors and the FBI, the group, which investigators say included Shiesty's father and fellow rapper Big 30, traveled from Memphis to Dallas back on January 10th. Now, they allegedly stormed a Dallas recording studio and what the Department of Justice is calling an armed takeover. Now, prosecutors say that Shiesty pulled out an AK-style pistol and forced rapper Gucci Mane to sign a release contract from his 1017 record contract at gunpoint. Investigators also say that others in the group were armed and stole Rolex watches, jewelry, cash, and other valuable items, while one person was choked to the point of near unconsciousness. This case comes just months after Pooh Shiesty was released from federal prison last October after serving 3 months on gun charges in federal prison. Now in court, Shiesty's defense team questioned the timeline and the lack of physical evidence. Federal prosecutors claim that Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty is a flight at risk and that he wasn't even supposed to be in Dallas at the time of the alleged robbery and kidnapping of Atlanta rapper Gucci Mane. Now, when it comes to these charges, Pooh Shiesty and the 8 other people involved could face up to life if found guilty. Reporting in Memphis, I'm Ezekiel Telemaco, ABC 24 News.
Kevin Reese was in the Dallas courtroom where We actually heard from Pooh Shiesty's attorney for the first time.
They held the federal hearing on the 16th floor in the smallest courtroom in the Earl Cabell Federal Building. Not enough room for Lontrell Williams' family and supporters, and a hallway full of journalists who listened through an open door for the more than 1 hour probable cause hearing. It's alleged the rapper known as Pooh Shiesty and a crew from Memphis confronted rapper Radrick Davis, known as Gucci Mane, held him at gunpoint and demanded he release Williams from his recording contract this past January. 8 other alleged co-conspirators, including Williams' father, are also in custody. But in Dallas, facing a judge on his own, Williams Jr. and his attorneys questioned why it took 3 months to bring these charges, noted that the FBI did not recover any weapons or allegedly stolen jewelry, and that the alleged violent encounter said to have happened inside a Dallas recording studio is not on any surveillance video. Government prosecutors, however, argue that Williams is a flight risk, who was released from federal prison just this past October after serving 3 years for gun crimes. And given conditions of his release, they allege the Memphis rapper didn't even have permission to be in Dallas. In the courtroom in a brown prison jumpsuit and shackles, Williams heard the judge rule that the evidence against him is heavy, that his lengthy criminal history is a factor, and that there is probable cause that he committed the crimes alleged in the complaint. So for now, Lontrell Williams Jr. stays in federal custody as the case against him and 8 alleged co-conspirators in a rapper feud continues. In Dallas, I'm Kevin Ray.
So there's allegations that Wright also allegedly recorded RD signing the paperwork and being forced to say that he released Williams Jr. from the contract. And then afterwards, it's alleged that Williams Jr. took RD's wedding ring and watch and earrings and cash. It was alleged that other defendants took out guns too and demanded property from other alleged victims. There was an allegation that McDaniel threatened to shoot BP, that MM was choked to the point that he nearly passed out, and embedded in the complaint are what appear to be photos allegedly showing cuts or abrasions on MM's neck and wrist.
Investigators revealed new details about what they say happened on January 10th. Just after 1 p.m., 3 victims arrived expecting to meet with rapper Pooh Shiesty or Lontrell Williams Jr. Instead, prosecutors say it was an ambush. An FBI special agent testified that Williams Jr. brought 1 victim into a private studio room. Others followed, shut the door, and an argument over a contract quickly escalated. Williams Jr. had Rodney Wright, also known as Big 30, retrieve a bag with an AK-style pistol, then pointed it at the victim, forcing him to sign paperwork releasing him from his contract, according to the agent. Investigators say multiple suspects then pulled gun, robbing the victims of jewelry, cash, and personal items. 1 victim was choked and injured. Outside, security could not get in. Prosecutors claim the exit had been barricaded by Big 30. Surveillance video captured parts of the incident. Authorities say the group later fled, some back to Memphis, others staying in Texas, with some even posting cash and stolen items on social media. A judge has now ruled there is probable cause for charges including kidnapping, robbery, and conspiracy. One of Big 30's attorneys, Murray Wells, spoke with us after the ruling.
There are certainly gaps in the evidence. The thing doesn't make sense. Sort of the way it's put together in the complaint doesn't make practical sense about how the way this may have happened. So we use this as an opportunity to sort of learn what their theory is.
And bond was granted for Williams Sr. under strict conditions, including home confinement and a $250,000 bond. As for the remaining suspects, their cases are expected to continue when court resumes Monday afternoon. Johnson's hearing was reset for Tuesday.
Action News 5's Imani Williams joins us now live from downtown after being inside the courtroom during the detention hearing. Imani?
Joe, it was a packed house today. I mean, there were dozens of people inside that federal courtroom in support of Rodney Wright Jr., also known, like you said, as Big 30. Now, the defendants had 2 people that they brought to the witness stand. Those 2 people were Big 30's dad and also the general manager of Endless Entertainment. I want you to take a look at your screen so you can kind of see what we saw in this complaint. So Big 30's dad and said that his son stays with him at home and he takes care of his kids. And the GM at Endless Entertainment, he said that Big 30 has some contractual agreements that he has to go through with putting out music and putting out albums. Now, the prosecution brought up his criminal history, including a gun charge in 2018, but it was wiped off of his record after diversion. Other than that, nothing really on his record but driving violations. Now, the judge said that she took criminal history, family support, and his alleged involvement in the incident all into account when going through this detention hearing today. She said the complaint does not show him having a gun or pulling a weapon out. I spoke with his attorney, Arthur Horn, about the bond granted, and he said there is more to it.
Initially, I guess she found that there was probable cause for the case to move forward. And then today, in the detention hearing, she did grant him a bond of a secure bond of $100,000. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Northern District of Dallas is going to file an appeal, and they're going to appeal the judge's decision, and we will have to have another detention hearing in Texas.
Now, the government has already, they have already documented and put in that stay. I just looked at it in my email just a few minutes ago. So the government has put in that stay to wait for an appeal from the Northern District of Texas. But this also surrounds a contract between rapper Gucci Mane and his 1017 label and Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty. Now, Horn said that Gucci Mane is not being cooperative with the government on this case. And so he questioned if the government will bring a case, will have a case, because Gucci Mane is not cooperating. He said it will make it hard for them to do that. Live downtown, Imani Williams.
You're not confirming or denying whether or not he was at the studio, or whether or not there was a contract dispute, or what the nature of that day was about, right? So that's basically,
sure. And it would be irresponsible and stupid of me to say, hey, listen, we're not going to deny this. Start giving up things that I don't know whether or not they can prove or not prove.
Federal prosecutors call this a violent, coordinated kidnapping and robbery inside a Dallas recording studio. The claims in this case sound more like a movie, but everyone involved could face real time in prison if convicted. Rap artist Gucci Mane robbed and kidnapped at gunpoint by rappers Pooh Shiesty and Big 30, among others in Dallas, according to the Department of Justice.
No matter who you are, we will fight every day alongside our partners to make our communities safer.
The FBI states in January, Pooh Shiesty, whose legal name is Lontrell Williams Jr., and Big 30, or Rodney Wright Jr., along with 7 others, lured 3 musicians to Dallas for what was supposed to be a business meeting. The DOJ says it then turned into a planned ambush.
As alleged, Williams Jr. produced an AK-style pistol and forced one of the victims to sign a release from the recording contract at gunpoint.
Investigators report the victims were also forced at gunpoint to hand over luxury items, including Rolex watches, cash, and jewelry, and one was nearly choked unconscious. The suspects didn't lay low, posting these images on social media hours later, showing off what officials claim to be the stolen items. Wright's attorney, Arthur Horn, says the allegations are shocking as details continue to come in.
He doesn't have a criminal history, he doesn't have a criminal record. He's been making music for a number of years. He and Pooh Shiesty kind of came up in the music game together, and they were sort of like, they're very close, and they made, some magical music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams' Cordova home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up lots of attention.
I just hope that people will wait to pass judgment on Rodney and these other individuals until all the facts come out.
And if convicted, all 9 defendants could face life in prison. There is a scheduled detention hearing for Wright, or Big 30, tomorrow at 2 p.m. before his case is moved to Texas. In the studio, I'm Lauren Turner.
Lontrell Williams Jr., he is among 9 suspects now facing charges in the alleged kidnapping and robbery of fellow rapper Gucci Mane at a Dallas recording studio back in January. Williams was released from federal prison just last October after serving 3 years for gun crimes in Florida. And prosecutors say a conviction this time around could bring as much as life in prison. We will have a full breakdown of what happened in court coming your way at 6 o'clock.
Tell me when you guys are ready. Ready?
Would you say your name first real quick?
Yeah, Bradford Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, Sam Zengane, and John Helms.
Any questions, just let me straight.
Yeah. Thank you. So we had a bond hearing today and a PC hearing today. I think that the relevant things that were said today that I thought were fascinating were that it took 3 months to build a case. And I think the reason for that was because the statements that were given on the evening that this occurred were very questionable. I think the way that the statements were made, what allegedly was witnessed and what wasn't witnessed. So we had a bond hearing today and a PC hearing today. I think that the relevant things that were said today that I thought were fascinating were that it took 3 months to build a case. And I think the reason for that was because the statements that were given on the evening that this occurred were very questionable. I think the way that the statements were made, what allegedly was witnessed and what wasn't witnessed, I think gave great pause to the FBI. The FBI doesn't take 3 months to arrest someone if they believe everything that was said on the night that it occurred. They were involved the first night and then nothing happened for 3 months. In addition to that I thought was quite embarrassing was that an FBI agent says they don't have the resources to keep their eye on an individual. This is allegedly an individual that committed a crime that they then didn't watch to see if the guns were present, if the jewelry was present. And what didn't we hear today? What we didn't hear today is there is no contract, this mystery contract. They have no contract. They have no video of this alleged signing of a contract. They have no guns, they have no jewelry, they have none of that physical evidence. What they have is they have allegedly 5 individuals, one of them being a very well-known individual that is allegedly cooperating with the government and making these allegations against my client and many more. I'm going to take like 1 or 2 questions and then we're going to scoot.
You're essentially arguing they've got only a he said kind of case, no evidence.
Correct. Yeah, it's very fair. I think that this is it's a he said type of a case. I mean, obviously, there's 5 individuals on one side. What we're missing are the other people that were present in the room, right? The owner of the studio who says he didn't hear anything or see anything. The way they leave the studio, where no one is in concert with anybody else, no one's arguing with anyone else. One of the individuals says, "Hey, can I get my watches back?" Like, the story is quite unusual. And I think that the FBI knew that. I think the investigators knew that it was unusual. And I think that's why it took so long to make the arrest.
What is your response to the judge saying that, your client still violated the terms of his ankle monitor location?
Sure. Those are all things that are going to be flushed out. The fact is that he was allowed to be in certain areas at certain times. That really wasn't an argument for today. I wasn't really even going to make that argument. My main thrust of today was to really push on the evidence and see exactly what they had and when they had. How about this? How about the individual who wrote the complaint, who actually drafted the complaint, who was sitting in the courtroom, who's only been an FBI agent for 4 years, does not take the stand. They put someone else on to say what she wrote in her own complaint when she's sitting in the courtroom. And that's done quite often in gamesmanship, because they don't want to put a rookie on the stand and be measured by our legal team.
How far away is this from trial?
Oh, who knows? We're going to get discovery. We'll take a look at their discovery. They're going to say it's ongoing. I mean, think about it. They had 3 months to get this stuff. They had 3 months to get warrants. They didn't get warrants that night. They didn't get warrants the next night. They didn't get warrants the next month. They didn't get warrants the month after. They waited 3 months to get warrants on whether or not there's guns, whether or not there's jewelry. How about their cell phones? How about the computers? That gives me great pause when I see a case that takes that long to get warrants, if you believe everything that was said on the evening that it occurred.
Doesn't it have a time limit?
Hold on, let me take one from her because she was trying last night.
Can you say anything anything about the identity of RD, and then you also spoke about a social media post he made?
Correct. So, listen, I don't like when the government puts initials in and everyone takes a guess who they are. We all know who they are, right? I'm not going to say it's this person or that person. That's not my job to do. But certainly there have been media posts of individuals that we suspect were involved in that evening where they're denying that it occurred, or they're denying that they're giving statements to the government. I think that's unusual as well, because of what the government put forward today seems to negate those statements, but we'll have to see how this all shakes out. Listen, guys, Sam and I have had many cases together, right? We just finished a case a couple of years ago in San Francisco on the Cash App murder case. And whenever I talk to individuals, whenever I talk to media, I always say this is not a straight road. It's always a very winding road. So we never know where things are going to take us. We got to look at the evidence as it comes in, and we'll see what's there. I'm just shocked that, you know, when they say there might be video out there, they don't have it. There might be this mystery contract, they don't have it. Oh, they were at Staples, you know, making copies. It's just a total guess. So, like, we're not here to guess. I'm here to look at the evidence, to weigh the evidence, and to make the best decision based on that evidence.
What your client just stays in detention until what?
Yeah, currently he'll stay in detention. We'll get discovery. We'll start going through that. There's going to be several motions that we're going to file, obviously, in the next couple of weeks. But that'll all come out, and we'll give copies to everybody. Look at my man. So my understanding is the FBI has, over the past 3 or 4 months, has interviewed none of the alleged victims, and allegedly they all have future dates to give statements. But I have no idea if that's true. We're basing it on what the agent said on the stand, that each one of those witnesses from that evening is going to appear and give a statement to the federal authorities.
So RD never made a statement as of now?
Not to the FBI, but that evening it appears from the material that they produced and from the agent's testimony is that RD gave a statement that evening, but since that evening has not given another statement. But the FBI said in the future they're all scheduled to give statements, so we'll have to see. All right? Thank you, guys.